Hello and welcome to the formal review. Today, we will be looking at the 2020 film, Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey. Now sit back, relax, and enjoy the review.
Hello everyone and welcome back to the formal review. This is season 3, episode 3, and I thank you all for tuning in once again. Now before I get started, I do want to preface this episode with a slight spoiler warning for this film, and I'll do my best not to completely ruin the movie for you, but as I always say, I do suggest you go see the film before you have to hear what I have to say about it, so you fully understand everything. But if you do not care about that, keep listening. So Harley Quinn Birds of Prey, or Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn, or just Birds of Prey, is a superhero film based on the DC Comics character Harley Quinn and the team Birds of Prey. It is the 8th film in the DC Extended Universe and is both a follow-up and spin-off 2016 Suicide Squad. It was directed by Kathy Yan and stars Margot Robbie returning as Harley. Each of the women characters do have men in their lives that have either taken advantage of them or done something wrong to them. So to me, having this feminist message makes complete sense, and I think that message works out very well. I also loved McGregor as Black Mask, as he's clearly having a lot of fun with his character, and I personally really liked Smollett Bella's Canary as well. I thought her character hit a lot of notes, pun not intended, when it comes to her character and singing. One of my favorite moments was when she was singing A Man's World, much better than Zellweger did in the entirety of Judy. Huntress was not really in this film as much, but she had the best story because it was an attempt to show that, but anyone else's so-called story was just only okay at best. One of the biggest flaws with this film is that its overall plot is sort of boring. Yeah, you get a lot of fun bits, but the overarching story is so simple that it's fairly forgettable. There's a lot of dialogue explaining things, and unfortunately still relies on the events of Suicide Squad, so it kind of makes that film still relevant for you, and you have to essentially go watch that film to understand everything that is going on here. They do try to recap it very quickly, but I think to really grasp everything, you do need to watch Suicide Squad. And I think that the MacGuffin in this film is also
Voting isn't just going to the polls anymore on Election Day. Options like early voting, mail-in voting, and ballot drop boxes are available to more voters and are growing in popularity. How to Vote is a tool created by Democracy Works, and it breaks down the options your state offers by forecasting a ballot, empowering you to decide where and when to vote. Democracy works best when we all vote, but misinformation and confusion about election procedures have resulted in low voter turnout. How to Vote takes the guesswork out of the voting process. It is easy to use and helps folks from all over the country overcome many of the process barriers to voting. It is committed to helping you vote no matter what. You can use the How to Vote tool to sign up for election reminders, see what's on your ballot, get step-by-step assistance requesting your mail ballot, explore your options for returning your mail-in ballot, check your voter registration status, and find your local polling site, and make sure that you have an appropriate ID to bring with you. Decide when and where you'll vote this year at howto.vote.
very, very weak. And like I said, the majority of the character stories were not the best, though they weren't the worst either. I will say it was fun to see some of these characters on screen, though they are fairly different from their comic book counterparts. Though I will say that the corrected title of Harley Quinn, Birds of Prey, is more accurate to what the film is about. Because this film, as originally advertised, is Birds of Prey, which is not really what this film is about. It's really about Harley Quinn. It's very interesting to me that Warner Brothers wanted to release this film as Birds of Prey and not a Harley Quinn, because Harley Quinn is the star and the best part of what the prior film was about. So why not make this a Harley Quinn movie? I get why they're trying to make it a Birds of Prey movie, but the title didn't really portray that, aside from it adding a quirky title, which is kind of what the movie's about, but no one was ever going to call it that. It was only going to call it Birds of Prey, which then changes what the movie actually is about, which then has you going in expecting something else than what you're actually getting. So had they called it Harley Quinn originally, it could perhaps gotten a better reaction from fans, because they're not expecting a Birds of Prey movie. They'll be more expecting a Harley Quinn movie. So I think watching it from a Harley Quinn aspect, this movie does succeed. And honestly, did I have a bad time at the movies when I saw this film? No, not at all. I enjoyed the action, everything that was about Harley Quinn. This film was enjoyable for the most part. However, it is mostly middle ground when it comes to other films in the DCEU. I don't think it's really worth a 40x viewing, but it is good enough to see at the theaters. It shouldn't be flopping as it is. I'd keep it for a matinee, not an evening showing, or maybe wait for a discounted showing, but I do think it was a fun time in the theaters. So now, what did you think of the film? Let me know. Hit me up on social media, The Formal Reviews on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. The URL is all the same. It's at The Formal Review. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and I really appreciate you all listening. I see the numbers, and I'm really thankful for you all. To never miss an episode, please subscribe to your favorite streaming service, The Formal Reviews on Spotify, iTunes, Google Music, and much, much more. Pretty much any service that has podcasts. In addition, I always want to grow and improve, so please leave a review on your favorite service. And feel free to also tell me what you want to hear and or a film that you want me to review. I do this for you all, and I want to keep this entertaining. Each pair of ears that you give to this podcast allows me to continue. For those who have supported me on a financial basis, I really appreciate the fact that you supported me in that way. For those who want to give financial support, please go to anchor.fm/the-formal-review and click support this podcast. Any donation is appreciated. As with every episode, I do have music in the background. I do not own the rights to this music, but I put it in to support to each film score. This is an important part of a film and can really bring the audience into the film's environment. This film's music was from the Birds of Prey and the Fantabulous Emancipation of One Harley Quinn original motion picture score, composed by Daniel Pemberton, released by Watertown Music on February 7th, 2020. Thank you all for tuning in once again, and until next time, I'll see you at the movies. Take care, everyone.
Thanks for tuning in to this episode of The Formal Review. We hope you'll join us again.